This is going to be part 2 of our first section here in Edmentum. So if you watched part 1 video, I went over how to start off this curriculum, which is managing income and expenses. So we did part 1. What you're seeing on my screen is what you should see when you get into Edmentum. Again, you start on Clever, you go down to Edmentum, clever.com/in/Columbus City. Click on this thing, this nice rainbow E, and it will take you into your Edmentum, and then eventually get to American Government, and then my class, Managing Income and Expenses. This is what we're doing this week, 420 through 424. So it's Wednesday. I'm going to put in part 2, go over it with you, make it very clear, try to keep it under, I shoot for 10 minutes, maybe 15. And then the next video, which I'll put up tomorrow on Thursday, I'm going to go through the quiz with you. So if you're watching these videos and you're doing it along with me, you'll get a perfect score. So keep an eye out for that too. So for my expectations for this first week is just that you get managing income and expenses done, the tutorial and this mastery test. So I'm going to click on the tutorial, which like I said, we already did the first part. So I'm going to click through here to page 29. We talked about career choices and skills, and opportunity costs was a word. I know that's going to come up on the quiz. There's a couple activities in there I asked you to try out, but you don't have to go crazy over those. Just do your best. And we left off, talked a little bit about insurance, and investments and Social Security and things like that. So now we're on page 29, responsible spending. So we're going to talk today a little bit about what you spend your money on. Another topic is inflation. But introduction here just talks about responsible spending. You're going to make money, and you're going to have to make decisions on what you're going to use that money for. Now that seems simple. You make money and you get a certain amount, and you have that amount to spend. But it's much more complicated than that. And most Americans did not get the financial education that you're getting. If you're taking this serious, and trust me, it will benefit you for the rest of your life. I wish I had learned some of these things a long time ago. Okay, page 31. Let's see here. Talks about inflation. So inflation is measured using the CPI, it's Consumer Price Index. This gets a little bit complicated. I'm going to simplify it for you. All you really need to know right now for this course is that the price of the things that you buy is going to go up. They give you an example here using hot dogs and hamburgers. Gross. But let's say in year 1, in 2012, it was $1. In 2013, it was $2. In 2014, it was $3 for a hot dog. What kind of inflation happened there? Well, every year the price doubled. So that's pretty fast inflation. Now this is just an example, but let's just say, I don't know, what's something you buy every year, almost every day. Let's say you have, I don't know, you go to the grocery store, or you go to the gas station, you buy a Diet Coke or something. Every year that might cost you a little bit more. So that's inflation. If you're making the same amount of money every year and the cost of things that you purchase is increasing, you're actually making less money. So it's something to consider. But look at all this math. It's a little bit confusing if you're a math person. I mean, it's pretty basic math. It's very basic math. But again, it's just to make you understand that we measure the cost of goods and how they go up as a whole. So maybe some stuff didn't, maybe some stuff did a lot, but overall, all the things you're going to be purchasing on a daily basis are going to continually increase in price, but it's the same product. So that's inflation. Try to understand this math, but again, don't go crazy over it. There's one question in the quiz, but if you do it with me, you'll have the answer, okay? Again, that'll be in the next video, which will be below this one, come Thursday, probably afternoon. All right, we'll talk a little bit about spending, ways you can spend. We got credit cards. Talk a little bit more about that in a minute here, but it starts off by telling you that credit cards are relatively risk-free compared to cash. Now, credit cards are incredibly dangerous, in my opinion. What they mean here is not that it's going to protect you from financial crisis. It's what puts most people into a financial crisis. It's what ruins a lot of people financially for their whole lives. Many Americans suffer from credit card debt. But by risk, they mean, let's say you're walking down the street with you got your wallet and you got $1,000 cash in it, and you get robbed or you drop it or something, that $1,000 is gone. But if you lose your wallet and you have a credit card in it, and somebody picks up your wallet and they spend $1,000 on your credit card, the bank will reimburse you when it's proven that that was fraudulent, that you didn't make that charge. So there's consumer protections built into a credit card, but there are other ways to get that protection, which we'll look at here. But these are just ways of spending and decisions that you have to make. So we got major purchases, house and a car. Those are the big major purchases that Americans put a loan on. Now, I'm going to highly recommend, especially at your age, do not get a car loan. It's an incredibly consistent way, I guess, to destroy your financial future. Most people think it's completely normal. Most grown adults have a car payment, so it's normal. But I will say this a few times throughout this course: normal is broke. Most Americans are normal, and normal means you live paycheck to paycheck. You don't have a passive income, you don't have a large retirement, and you're not rich. That's normal. If you want to be one of those people, do what they do. They get car loans. If you want to be wealthy, what wealthy, rich millionaires do is they buy their cars cash. And before they were millionaires, they bought them cash also. You can get a decent car for $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, whatever it may be. If you want a $5,000 car, save $5,000 and buy a $5,000 car. Pay yourself for a little while. But we'll talk more about that a lot, actually, because cars are really the biggest decision that a lot of high school kids make financially. But those are the big ones. Then we got impulse spending. That's you just buy something out of the blue randomly. You didn't plan for it. And then digging into savings. If you have some savings, that's supposed to be set aside. Now, for me, I like to have that passive income. So I want my money to make money. So I don't put my money into a savings account. I put it into investments, which are like savings accounts, but they are going to provide interest back to me. More of that to come in the next slide. Credit cards, again, allow you to buy stuff that you can't afford. Credit cards are not your money. If you have a credit card and you use it, you are borrowing money. It's a loan on a card. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. They'll try to trick you and convince you every which way to have a credit card. Credit card companies spend billions of dollars a year targeting young Americans. They want you, when you turn 18, to scoop up their card and keep it for the rest of your life. They are great companies. They make a lot of money. Credit is making people like Visa rich because they are making interest on your money. Now, if you have a good financial setup and you have a good budget and you know how to be patient with your money, you can pay yourself and get interest instead of paying Visa and they take interest. So we talked about passive income a little bit before. That's what you're looking for. You want to be able to have extra money to pay yourself and have your money make money. Essentially, my goal every day is how can I get my extra money to go to work for me? But before you can do that, you have to have extra money. And you have extra money by not having big car loans, by not having a bunch of credit card debt, by being patient, by telling yourself no once in a while, saying, no, I can't afford that. I'm going to wait. And it pays off. I don't like credit cards. They're bad. Debit cards, though, are that protection I was talking about earlier. You do have protection if you have a debit card. It's the same thing as a credit card, except it's your money. Credit card, you're borrowing from Visa or MasterCard or American Express. You swipe your debit card, it looks just like it. It has the same little Visa logo in it, but it's your money. You are using your own money. And if you were to lose your wallet and someone were to take that debit card and swipe it and use all your money, the bank will pay you back for that. So there are protections using debit cards, and cash is cash. It's that green stuff. You know the deal. You lose some cash, it's gone, okay? Most people use electronic forms of money these days. And we have checks. You write a check. That's very rare. The only check I write is to my church every Sunday when I go to Mass, because they don't really want to throw my debit card into the basket. But other than that, I pay all my bills through automatic drafts, which is the last thing here. Excuse me. And then we have digital wallets. PayPal, if you've heard of that. Venmo. There's apps that you can use to pay people and to get paid. I use a few of those. And then there's wire transfers. That's bigger time money when you go to the bank and you want to transfer a giant amount of money somewhere. That's very uncommon these days too. You can do those online. Okay, now, page 39. If you're not watching these videos, you're not going to know this, but you don't have to do page 39. Now, I recommend doing this if you have a job and you have an income and you have a bank account. You can go back and look at your bank statements for the past 3 months. I do it every once in a while. Probably once a year, I'll go back. I'll print out 3 months of my bank statements, and I will rip them apart. Here's how much I spent at restaurants. Here's how much I spent on gas stations. Here's how much I spent going out to dinner. Here's how much I spent on the groceries. And I'll really be able to see where my spending problems are. Like, oh, wow, I'm spending a tremendous amount of money going out to restaurants every week. Maybe I can cut that down and use the extra to go into my investments so that money can go off to work and make me more money. That's what this is. This is kind of analyzing your bank statements. But if you don't have bank statements, you don't have to do it. Just skip it. Put Murray said, don't worry about it. Hit submit. I'm grading these, okay? Page 40, so we're almost done here. This is drag tiles to the correct boxes. You're going to see it like this. Get my face out of the way here. Making impulse purchases. We're going to bring that down. Let's see. That does not require planning. That's what impulse means. You just did it. Using a credit card. This can result in crushing interest. Most credit cards are about 20%, I would say, on average interest. So if you go out and you spend $100 on that credit card, when you pay back, or sorry, let's say $1,000, you bought a bunch of crap. You went out to the movies, you bought a new outfit from Abercrombie or a new iPhone or something. You pay back that $1,000 at 20% interest, you pay back $1,200. They just got $200 off you borrowing money. Now, if you put money into your own account, maybe into the stock market, we'll talk about how to do that, or some kind of investment that makes money, now you're earning that interest. Okay, and then using your savings account money, that can help in an emergency. And the idea with an emergency fund or a savings account is that if something happens, maybe you get a flat tire, or you have a medical expense, or your dog gets sick, and you don't have to pull that credit card out. You can go into your savings, and you can stay financially reliable. And then establishing good credit. This is for obtaining a loan for a major purchase. Someday you might want to buy a house. Maybe sooner than later. I recommend it. The real estate market is a great place to make money. Owning a home is a great way to increase your personal value, I guess, financially. But we'll talk again about that too. I have a whole section on that. But you gotta have good credit if you're gonna borrow a lot of money. But I'm gonna try to convince you to not borrow money for anything ever. And let's see, that's pretty much it. So the summary here is a video. Watch it. And then lastly, the next video, like I said below, it's not there yet, but it will be there Thursday. So whenever you're watching this, I'm going to go through the quiz. Save and exit. Excuse me. Drive and talking a lot. Mastery test. So I'll go through that with you, okay? So check that out and do it with me. Submit it. These will go into Infinite Campus. This is our first Edmentum week. Next week, we'll be doing the next one. So try to keep up. And again, tell your friends. Put this on your Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Whatever, text. I don't know what you're talking to each other with. But I don't have a lot of people doing these. And they need to. This is why you're going to get a grade for me for the fourth quarter using this Edmentum. So please, the word out. All right. There'll be another one for the rest. Thank you. And I'll see you then, assuming I can figure out how